a differing ability of the other child. So when you're talking to a father that has a child on the spectrum who could have spatial awareness issues, who has social anxiety, who could have social issues and communication issues, et cetera, which all fall under the autism spectrum, because like we mentioned before, it's a spectrum. It's ignorant to say to beat up a child and you're not taking in consideration what the other child is going through. Now, I'm not going to sit and say that I'm perfect and I haven't had those same ignorant thoughts. The thoughts are ignorant. But how can we start to look at not just our children, but shaping society to understand that our children are different, and helping other children who may be neurotypical develop more grace, so that there's a space for not just neurodivergent children in autism, but neurodivergent children in other areas with other diagnoses?
First of all, I want to say we talk a lot about therapy, uh, but not enough about fatherhood. You know, I think the father's presence is consistent presence is the biggest intervention you actually can have over ABA, over anything. That's why building a brotherhood like you guys have now is important. Um, you know, knowing the history, like the history of our country and all that, there's a lot of black families that have valid reasons to be cautious over systems, over diagnosis, over those things. You guys all know the history dating back from like Tuskegee experiment, like all that stuff that we've done where we have valid reason to be cautious, right? But I believe like the way, first of all, we have to repair that harm that's done. And I think that's done by centering our culture, our values, our truths, um, and how we serve. And that includes giving fathers a seat at the table, which a lot of them don't, a lot of fathers don't have. And, the stigma that you talked about, bro, Nick, you kind of said it earlier. It starts with having conversations like this. It starts with being valid and actually seeing people have these conversations and talk about it and talk about what it looks like, talk about what it isn't. Because if people like us aren't talking about it, everybody's going to continue to have form all these opinions. But if you have autism, him, if you have Beyond the Science, if you have BMBA, continue to talk about how these and then tell you guys what the actual truth is, our community can then be educated.